Welcome back again to All Things Rangers. I'm your host, Mark Williams. I am joined by one man who could only be called Mr. John Polkowski.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah. You know what? You keep saying, you know what? He should have just named himself Bruce Cassidy, Butch Cassidy. Now I get it right. It's ridiculous. I am also joined by another man known as The Rock. No, he's not, but that's a trademark. Can't do that. Mr. Anthony LaRocco.
Cheers.
This is a game that hopefully will one day take America by storm. It is shot, beer, and buy everyone around. We're going to gauge our panelists' enthusiasm for a bunch of topics that unfortunately were haphazardly made by the idiot that's talking right now. The New York Rangers' biggest obstacle to make the playoffs this season is that the Boston Bruins aren't going to lose.
Wow. I'm going to say a beer because they do have a soft schedule, a very soft schedule. They have a couple of games, as we discussed, coming up right about now that might be tough. And then they have a soft schedule, and they have Buffalo, I still think, another 5 times. And then they have the Rangers at the very end of the season. So the Rangers' biggest obstacle might not be Boston itself, but it also could be themselves. They are their own worst enemy at times. As we've seen, they play down to competition, and they play up to competition. So are the Rangers, I think, who have Buffalo 4 times, are they going to be able to get up for Buffalo? Or it's New Jersey that they have 4 times, sorry. I think Buffalo, they maybe have another 2. Are they going to be able to get up for the remaining games they have against Buffalo? And then how are they going to fare against a better team like Boston at the end? So I wouldn't just say it's Boston themselves and the fact that their schedule's easy, but I also question them and the consistency from game to game. So,
and as we all know, consistency comes from coaching. Anthony,
I agree with a lot of what John said. So I'm torn between beer and then also going buy everyone around, because I do believe that Boston is going to be a big, roadblock for them. Boston's gonna, even though they're not the best team right now, chances are they're gonna beat Buffalo when they play them. They're gonna beat New Jersey and Philly. So, because I do think the Rangers can take care of New Jersey. I think they show some flashes of, okay, maybe this could be a playoff team, but we go back to the inconsistency. However, I just think Boston, with the 5-point lead that they have right now, has a big enough cushion that, will enable them to even increase that once they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, like Buffalo and Philly and everybody else. So I think I'll go buy everyone around on that one. I think the Rangers might make Boston's life really hard, but I think Boston's just going to keep getting points and keeping them off their tail.
it's buy everybody around. Doesn't matter who the Bruins are playing. They're going to get a point at least almost every single game. They're going to go to overtime and lose like they did against the Islanders. And the Islanders could have beaten them in regulation. They're going to come back from 2-0 deficits like they did against the Pittsburgh Penguins and then outscore them 7-3 like they did Saturday. Last night, the Flyers are fighting for their lives. Bruins beat them. Last week, the Flyers were up 2-0. Bruins beat them 3-2 in overtime. It's just right now there's no way to knock down the Bruins, and they're a flawed team, and there's just no way to knock them down. So the Rangers have to be at their best. And going back to what John says, you can't give up points, whether it's a shootout loss to the Buffalo Sabres or not getting up to play a game against the New Jersey Devils. You want to be in the playoffs, you got to do this. It's what you got to
do. Something that neither of us have mentioned yet, and we forgot to mention it, is that the Bruins have games in hand on the Rangers.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Harder.
Big problem.
You got to, not only that, but you got to make sure when those games are being played that they lose and the Rangers have to win their game. So the Rangers have to play essentially, like I said, somewhere between 750 and 850 hockey the rest of the way and hope that the Bruins lose those games in hand.
David Quinn is actually developing the talents. Anthony, I'm going to start with you, as I can already see the disbelief in John's face.
I'm gonna take a shot on this one. No, the guy's not doing that. He's not doing anything close to it. Krasov's on the fourth line. He doesn't give Lafreniere much power play time. His use of Blackwell, even though he's producing well, no, he's not. I mean, he's proved time and time again that he doesn't handle the youth well. Krasov already went home once to Russia. He ruined Elias Anderson. Kakko, for drafted second overall, you would think he would have had a better start to his career offensively. He's seen some flashes, but it's not quite there yet. So no, I mean, absolutely not. The guy needs to, take a page out of, I don't know, let's say someone like, who's a good coach, maybe Quenneville in Florida. He has a lot of young players on that team that seem to excel, step up this year. Like Carter Verhaeghe all of a sudden has guys like 18 goals or whatever. It's crazy. So, but no, Quinn doesn't do anything of the sort.
Bring it on, baby!
Let me just start off by asking if chugging an entire bottle of Jameson is an option.
Thanks. I needed that.
We'll go with that one. Yes, we'll go with that one.
All right, so then I'm going to do that then, and I'm going to get alcohol poisoning, and I'm going to go to the hospital that way. Yeah, so we're talking about a coach that's willing to sacrifice the development of his young talent for a playoff spot in which they would probably get smacked in the first round. Let's just say they somehow make the playoffs and they get the Islanders in the first round. Do you think the Islanders are letting the Rangers win a game in that series? Especially if the Rangers could beat Carolina and their worst goaltending and worst defensive system? No, I don't think so. I would be shocked if the Rangers got one game against the Islanders somehow because they got up for that game and then just got killed in the other four. But the Rangers right now are a mess developmentally. Like Anthony said, you're not seeing anything from Kakko. Yeah, you love the improvement defensively. You like that he's creating chances, which he's creating a lot of, but the offense just isn't there. I had somebody on Twitter tell me that he was developing into an elite two-way forward. I had to tell them to pump the brakes because he's actually on pace for less points this year than he was last year. That's scary. He's on pace for 19 points over 80. And Kakko was projected for about 29 to 30 points over 80 last year. So the numbers are definitely down offensively. The analytics and the eye test are definitely up defensively. Chances are there. He's definitely a bit snake bitten, but he's also hesitant to shoot. Lafreniere plays timid because he's worried about getting stapled to the bench, like Gauthier said. Hedl came out in the Buffalo game that they won in overtime and said, our line played great, but I'm confused as to why we got such little ice time. That's a big problem. You already have Elias Anderson. David Quinn is now rehashing Vitaly Kravtsov's saga part 2 and is doing the same crap to him that he was not happy with the club for previously. So why don't you trade this kid sooner than later? You trade Gauthier while you're at it too, because you just really don't care about his ice time, obviously. What else is there? The defense is Jock Martin's work. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that the defense is David Quinn's work, because it's not. I don't care if he was drafted as a defenseman in the first round 37 years ago. It's Jock Martin's work. He's a defensive coach. Everybody talked so much garbage about how bad the defense was last year, and now you have the defense playing much better. Jacob Trouba's playing solid defense now, even though there's no offense. Keandre Miller looks really good defensively. Adam Fox is playing Norris caliber hockey. Ryan Lindgren's playing great. The top four looks good. I'm going to say, to get back on point and stop getting off on tangents, no, there's nothing that David Quinn has done developmentally for this team.
I'm taking a shot too. I want to drink a beer because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but no. And I understand that there are people ready to kill me on social media for saying that, or disagreeing with the great Dave Maloney that Quinn is just not doing the job. I don't even know what he's doing. And the guy that I'll point to right now is, not that I think Georgiev is a great goalie by any means. You put the money on Shesterkin because that's what we should be doing. But what are we? Georgiev hasn't played in 2 weeks. I mean, again, just come on. Now we're looking over at, you bring over your top prospect, and there's a spot for him on the second unit to play. But no, we're just gonna play. We're gonna play Colin Blackwell there, and then Kravtsov. I'm gonna put in the Chiron right here what his ice time was in those 2 games combined that he's played so far, and I guarantee it might get to 20 minutes, maybe. I'd be shocked if it was over that. Could it have been a little bit differently in the Buffalo game if he slapped home that puck with 2 minutes remaining and not only got his first NHL goal, but it was a game winner for the Rangers? Sure. But the New York Islanders will be the #1 seed in the East Division.
So basically, will they win the division?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I mean, I just think there's a lot of things going for them right now. You know, they're playing without one of their key players, as we mentioned, late, and still having some success. Lou is going to make some sort of move to make them even better. They're going to play even harder, more trots-like playoff hockey down the stretch, and that's important. And I also think they're going to be hungry to win a division for the first time since, I don't even know. I think the last time they won a division was probably 80.
I'm going to say 88.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And again, for those reasons, I kind of think that Lou, making the move to the deadline and then just locking it down the stretch. I think they're going to do it. So buy me around on that one.
I'm between beer and around, and the reason why I'm teetering right now is because of the deadline. If they make a move at the deadline, and they get the guy that they're looking for and the guy that they need, I would go to buy everybody around. But if, let's just say, I don't know, Boston gets ahead, jumps them for Palmieri, and then Florida comes out of nowhere for Hall, where are the Islanders at that point? To me, I still think they could win it at that point, but I think it's more of a challenge for them. So I'm gonna stick with beer for now, but I do have them as my division winner. I just don't think that I'm just not in the buy everybody around territory yet. So I'm gonna say beer.
I'm gonna have to say beer. As I've outlined in the Islanders video before, you could see that right here. Click that link. I do think it's going to be the Penguins because of their strength schedule and just they're going to make improvements at the deadline as well this week. This is just such a tough division. This really is.
Yeah.
And I'm actually smiling just thinking about it, just because it's whoever comes out of this playoff series at the end, they're going to be like the shot of Rambo.
No, Adrian.
Yeah. It's going to be very tough. And you look at the coaching that's in this division. Same thing I said in the other video, but this is going to be tough. But you know what? The honors are right there. How can I not say anything less? They're right there. It's not like, oh, shot, they're not going to do it. No, they're right there. Beer. It's got to be. Well, this one, tailor-made for Anthony. Lou Lamoriello is going to make a big move.
I gotta reference it in the last one we just did here, but I gotta buy around on that one.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
We were wrong to bury Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks like it. They're in a playoff spot right now. So I'm going to say buy around. They weren't playing well. They weren't getting production out of their top players. Ryan Johansson found his scoring touch again. They're without Philip Forsberg, and everybody thought they were dead when that happened. Stop it. He's dead. He's already dead. Yeah, I knew you would get that reference. I knew you would love it, so that's why I did it.
One of my favorite.
Yeah. we all thought they were done. So yeah, we were wrong to do it, and we're getting bit for it now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. By a round on that, but to be in fairness to us, they weren't playing well. They weren't playing well defensively, which is odd for a Nashville Predator team. And they just, unfortunately for them, they're behind some 3 really good teams right now in Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Florida that put them behind the 8 ball. And then, not only that, but a team like Chicago surprised out of the gate, and they were, so they were really caught with their pants down there. But since then, Arvinsson's been good. Their defense has been advertised at home. He's not getting traded anymore. UC Saros has been good in goal, and they look like a playoff team now. So I think they're going to make it, and I think they kind of made a lot of pundits look silly with their play, and with their bearing of them in the beginning of the season.
I'm gonna say bye everybody around as well, because the one thing I was shocked that they were playing so badly. I understand that their roster was starting to get in flux and get to the window's closed on Nashville anyway. But John Hines is a good coach, I think, and I for one I'm happy about it, because I don't know, you can do this, but I think he's they're better. John, better or worse than David Quinn?
How low do you want to set the bar? Do you want me to play all flat on my back? Come on.
That is a good point. I mean, if I want to set the bar real low, I could say better or worse than Brian Trottier. So, oof. Yeah.
We're not even talking salary cap era here.
That face that the Rangers had. But Nashville still got some talent, and, Montreal is the scariest 4 seed in the playoffs.
Let's see. I think they're better than Arizona right now. I think they're scary. Boston, 4 seed. So yeah, I would agree with that. They got a nice mix of veteran and young guys. Suzuki's great. Kakaniemi's playing really well. They added Eric Stahl. Duran's still not the player I thought he would be, but they don't even really need him to be right now with the way they're going. The only thing that worries me is I don't know how long it is, but I saw that Carey Price is out. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I think they call up Caden Primo, but I would say Montreal can make noise. Just how they surprised and beat Pittsburgh in the bubble last year. I think they could give Toronto fits if Toronto holds on and wins that division. Those 2 teams always play well against each other. The one thing but Brendan, talking about streaming up-to-date news, Brendan Gallagher is out with a broken thumb. He just happened the other day, hand or thumb. But he's out for a while, so that's going to affect them, unfortunately. But even with that injury, I still think they could be a dangerous team going into the playoffs.
I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but I've been saying all year from the start of the year that this team could be an absolute night to deal with if Weber and Price stayed healthy. Price has been healthy for the majority of the season. Now you got Gallagher out with either the thumb or the hand. It's only going to be a few week injury. I would say 4 to 6 weeks at most, probably. He'll be back for the playoffs. But the depth that they have up and down, they acquired Eric Stahl. Nick Suzuki and Jesperi Kotkaniemi have both taken the next step. Anthony said, as he said before, Drouin hasn't been the player that he should be, but they don't even need him to be. Tatar, Deneau, Gallagher we've talked about. Jeff Petrie on defense is one of the top scoring defenders in the NHL, plays a ton of minutes. Alexander Romanov has been really good as a rookie despite not getting power play or shorthanded time, and he's looked really good at even strength. This team's got depth up and down. They've got the goaltending once Price gets back, even though I think he's a little overrated at this point. He's still good enough to steal a series. And they've got speed, and they're a tough, fast team to play against because they keep coming at you. Kind of like how the Islanders remind me of like 2 years ago when Barry Trotz first came there. They were a team that came at you in waves and kept forechecking hard. So that's Montreal to me, and I'm still saying that they're a dark horse.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with bye everybody around as well, because I don't have it as currently constructed. It's the Bruins, Nashville, Arizona, and Montreal. Arizona might be the best team out of the 4, but they're going to get Colorado. That's going to be in our next segment. And Boston, as currently constructed, is easily going to be dispatched by either the Capitals or the Islanders, or possibly even the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, Penguins might not easily get rid of them, I don't think. And so it's got to be Montreal. Has to be by default. Unless somehow Dallas goes on a run, gets healthy, makes the playoffs. Because they were just in the Stanley Cup final. That's the only reason why you could say that. So, sorry we lost one of our guys, but what happens? Colorado is unstoppable.
No. I'm going to say shot there.
Okay.
I think that Grubauer is unproven. He looked good in the playoffs last year before he got hurt. But I don't think they would have beaten Dallas. I just think they were too strong, Dallas. I think Bowen Byram is actually out right now with an injury. Cale Makar has missed time this year. They look like a good team. They're super hot right now. I would want to be on a hot streak entering the playoffs, not right before, and then there's still time for them to lose a couple of games. I don't think they will like that. They'll lose 1 or 2 games maybe at most, and then they'll come back and they'll do some damage. But I don't think they're unstoppable. I think Las Vegas is actually a better team up and down. I like Las Vegas's defense a lot better than I like Colorado's because Makar is analytically and by the eye test not good defensively and plays a lot of sheltered minutes. I think he starts like about 62 to 63% of the shifts in the offensive zone, which is probably near the top of the league.
I'm going to go with Beer, and I think you outlined every reason why you should have doubt. The other reasons, obviously, in there is who are they going to get in the next round? They would greatly benefit if it was 1 versus the 1-8 setup, but it's the divisional format. So it's going to be
1 versus 4.
1 versus 4. They're going to have no problem with Arizona. Arizona is good against. I think they're going to be a tough out for any team except Colorado. Colorado's going to crush them in 5. So that leaves you with Vegas, and Vegas was my pick to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I don't know. I don't know if you say that they're unstoppable if they're not going to go beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals. But what do you think about all the things that we just listed? Is Colorado an unstoppable force? Did you have Nashville even getting close to the playoffs, or just selling off all their pieces? Is David Quinn actually a good coach, and we're just hard on him? Filk? And is Lou Lamoriello going to make a big move? Yeah, I did have to consult my notes because I forgot all of our topics.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.